Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Young Villans podcast. I think this is Series 2, Episode 7, if I'm not mistaken. It's just me and Jude today. We're just going to have a little chat. Obviously, we never did a podcast last week because we were all a bit busy. We're just going to have a bit of a chat about Villa in recent weeks. Obviously, we beat Leicester away. We lost 3-0 to Leeds. The less said about that, the better. Going forward, what we need to do to improve off the back of that dreadful away at home loss against Leeds United. And obviously we've got Southampton on Sunday, so we're going to have a bit of a chat about that as well. Jude, speak to me. Just how are you? How are you? Obviously, it's been a couple of weeks since you've been back out of hospital. So how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Definitely been more relaxed, been more positive at home. Obviously, last time we did one of these, I was in hospital. And yeah, just definitely good. Great to be back at home. Great to be doing stuff like this. And just getting back to some normality. I've still got a long rehabilitation process ahead of me, don't get me wrong, but it's just given me this time to sort of reset and get back to talking about football, writing about football, and yeah, just doing what I love.
Yeah, decent. What should we just speak about the? Should we speak about the football then? Obviously, we're going to touch up on two different games, two very different games where the scorelines are involved, and then we'll discuss what we need to do going forward. I just want to ask you one question though. Obviously, we're 5 games in now. Who has been our best player for you? Who do you think has been our best player?
Best player, I would probably say. Put me on the spot here, Harry. Martinez.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Just
I'd
because of the
say
clean sheet ratio.
yeah,
Bar the Leicester, the clean sheet, and credit. A lot of the credit goes to defence.
yeah.
But I just think Martinez has been outstanding.
Yeah, for me, it's between Martinez or Matty Cash. I think Cash was great against Leeds, even though he did lose 3-0. I think he was just a good player to have in the team, and I think going forward he could. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because obviously we got Gilbert, and I feel a bit harsh on Gilbert because he did really realistically he did nothing wrong last season. To be replaced by Matty Cash, but at the end of the day, Matty Cash has come in and played better than Gilbert. So yeah, I feel a bit sorry for him, but then I feel as if Cash deserves it more than Gilbert. So yeah, let's speak about the Leicester game then quickly. Obviously, it was a bit of a boring game to be fair. We lost, we won 1-0, last minute winner. Bit of a boring game, weren't it? Realistically, what were your thoughts on that game then?
I thought Villa did excellent. They were patient. I thought the first half it was very cagey, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
It was very, both sides were cancelling each other out. Castagna.
Yeah.
Castagna was getting on Grealish's nerves, weren't he? But then the second half, Villa were by far the better team. We had loads of chances in the second half. We just couldn't get that final ball. Ollie Watkins missed a few. Grealish would hold on to the ball for longer than he should have done in some cases. But like I say, we were patient, and it was a game that needed a moment of brilliance. It brought us a moment of brilliance. Ross Barkley, a wonder strike, and he scored 2 and 2. Well, on that day, it was 2 and 2, and 2 and 2 starts. But yeah, Barkley, look, it was a bit quiet that game, but he come up with a wonder strike, didn't he?
Yeah, well, what are your thoughts on Barkley overall? Because obviously we signed him a few days before the transfer deadline day happened, and obviously he's played 3 games. One of them being against Liverpool, where we were obviously won 7-2. The other one being against Leicester, and then obviously the other one being against Leeds last week. What have your thoughts been on Ross Barkley?
I think he's been brilliant so far. I think the 2 games you just mentioned, Liverpool and Leicester, where we got the win. I thought he was brilliant. I think, especially against Liverpool, he showed his real quality on how he can take the pressure off Jack Grealish, which is what we wanted for the majority of the summer window, which is great. Yeah. Against Leicester, he was coming deep when he was trying to receive the ball, but that was just because of the pattern of the game, in my opinion. But he came up with a wonder strike and scoring goals. If you can't argue when a player scores goals in it, it sort of cancels out. He didn't have a bad performance because it was a very scruffy game. Is that a good way to put it? I don't know.
Scrappy, yeah, very scrappy.
Scruffy. I don't know where I got that word from. Scrappy. It was a very scrappy game, but he come up with a great strike against Leeds. Look, it weren't his night, but it weren't any of our players' night. Again, he was coming a lot deep to receive the ball, but a lot of players were coming deep. There was times where you saw glimpses of him a little bit, but I just thought he was quiet against Leeds. But any of our players, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I thought none of our players were at it against Leeds.
Only Cash, really. I think Cash was our best player against Leeds. Specifically in the first half, I remember there was a short spree, 20-minute spree when he was winning every single ball on that right-hand side. But yeah, it's a bad day at the office, Leeds. Obviously, we'll move on to that now. Leeds, very, very bad day at the office, and one that we want to forget quickly going into this Southampton game. Obviously, we had a great start, 4 games played, 4 games won. Going to the Leeds game, I think we were overconfident. I remember a couple of years ago when we were in the Championship, the season we lost the playoff final. I remember we beat Wolves 4-1 at home, and then we had another game midweek, and I think we lost 3-1 to QPR, and it was like going from beating top of the league Wolves, who would then next season go on to get European football, 4-1 to losing to a bang average Championship side in QPR, and I think that's sort of what happened against Leeds. We'd gone from beating the champions of the world 7-2, and last season's another team in last season's top 6 in Leicester 1-0, to losing to a team that have just been promoted. It was fair play to Leeds. I've received a bit of abuse from Leeds fans in my comment section on my previous video, but yeah, fair play to Leeds. I thought really deserve to beat us.
Yeah, I think just listening to what you're saying there about the Wolves game 2 years ago in the Championship under Bruce. I think, in my opinion, you can't really compare it to that. I think this team's completely different.
I just use that as an example, yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand you're saying, but I just think there's a lot different to this team. I think it was a one-off. I thought the first half, we got what we expected. I think, we wanted goals in the first half. We sort of got what we expected. It was very much end-to-end. Both defence, both back lines were on top form in the first half. And then second half, I was in the mindset, I don't know what you were thinking, but Leeds only had plan A, right? And that was to attack. So I thought, in my opinion, that would go in Villa's favour, where we would go on the counter. Unfortunately, it didn't do that, did it? It sort of went the other way. And, Leeds were excellent. I thought you touch on Matty Cash being great. Yeah, first half, I thought he was brilliant. But second half, I thought, what's his name? Harrison, torn him apart down the wing, down the left-hand side. But look, it's, in my opinion, it's a one-off game. Leeds were by far the superior side, like you said.
Energetic, very, very, very energetic as well. I don't know where they get the energy from.
No, he's Marcelo Bielsa, and you look at there's some new players in that side, and when you come into a Marcelo Bielsa team, it takes a little bit of a while to adjust to a training session. So fair play to the new players, because they've come up to speed fairly quickly. But going back to Villa, I think the problem for me was there was no plan B. And this is where Dean Smith and co need to, this week in training, need to address that. Because, in my opinion, what's your thoughts on this? The likes of your Craig Shakespeare's, your likes of your John Terry's, need to come in at nearly 60, 65 minutes and say, come on, Dino, make a sub. Although he did bring on Traore, but we had Connor on the bench, and it just, there was no plan B. And that's why Leeds went on to score. When we went 1-0 down, the tone of the game changed, our heads dropped. And that was the first time that we'd experienced that.
Yeah, let's speak about Patrick, or should I say hat-trick Bamford. He was just unreal. Everything he touched, especially in that second half, everything he touched turned to gold. Speaking of Bamford, though, Ben's tweet. Why did he say that in the first half?
I haven't seen his tweet. Can you?
Mate. Bamford missed I remember Bamford missed a sitter in the first half, or it might have been early second half, early stage of second half, I can't remember. But he put something on about Bamford, and then he went on to score. To score a hat-trick.
I can't really talk or comment about that because I did a written match preview. And I put the one to watch. Well, for us, I put the one to watch Barkley, and for them, I put BAMFORD.
Oh,
So
right, fair enough.
people saying I was jinxing that. So yeah.
Fair, but no, but yeah, like he was getting like. I remember a couple of days after as well. Someone said there was someone on Twitter and it was like, "Who's the worst UK YouTuber?" And I tagged Ben as a joke. And then someone said something like, "I agree with you because of that Bamford comment." Like, it's just funny. But yeah, Bamford was just unreal. I think that the whole Leeds team was unreal, and I expect them to go and do quite well this season, based on that performance and based on they went and scored 3 goals away at Liverpool. Obviously, we scored 7 against Liverpool, but I think we can all say that was a bit of a fluke. But yeah, they also got a point at home to City as well against Guardiola's side. That was a good point as well. You've just got to look at them and think they will go and do well this season. In my Premier League predictions, I put them to go down. That ain't happening. That is not happening, unfortunately.
I know.
Well, yeah.
I questioned that when I saw your Premier League predictions, Harry. But I just think, look, I've touched on it once. I'm really intrigued on how we bounce back because
yeah,
there needs to be other options there. I think
yeah, no. And the only reason I put Leeds to go down in my Premier League predictions was because everyone was hyping up. If you remember before the season, everyone was like, "Oh, they're going to get top 6. They're going to." I just thought that they're not going to do that. They're going to just flop and go down. But I don't think that'll happen.
To be fair, no, they lived up to that major hype, didn't they?
Yeah, well, so far, yeah, 100%.
Especially against us. But Southampton's our next game, isn't it? And I'm just really intrigued on how we bounce back because I'm hoping that, if things aren't going our way, then there is a plan B in place. People are saying, I was speaking to Liam post-match, and he said, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll, bounce back. I don't think it'll be that easy. Yes, this was before they beat Everton. Liam was saying this, but I'm hearing Theo Walcott's back. There's a lot of pace in that side.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Theo Walcott is back. Your face says it all, doesn't it? So, yeah, what are your thoughts on Southampton going into Southampton?
I don't know. Southampton, they're a bit like Brentford, aren't they? Sometimes they'll be like really good. Like in one game, like I remember last season they beat Chelsea away, and then the next game they lost. I can't remember who it was too, but yeah, they're a bit hit and miss. Sometimes they can win, so another week they can lose to a worse team. Like you don't know what to expect with sides like this, and I think their main player is Danny Ings. We've got to keep Danny Ings quiet in that game because if we don't, he's going to do what Bamford did to
their
us
forward
last
line
week.
is we've got to
Well,
stop.
yeah,
because
true. They've got that. I don't know how to say his name. Is it Gineppo? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
Gineppo
don't
tore
know.
us apart last season.
Yeah,
especially at the Southampton.
Yeah, I think overall, I've said this in my preview that I've just rendered. It'll be up if any of you guys want to know. It'll be up within the next couple of days, but probably tomorrow. But yeah, I said in my preview that I'm lost now. Speaking about my preview, he's lost me.
Yeah. Score prediction, did you say? Or was you going to go on to that? Or
no, right. Okay, I remember. Right, I said that overall, I think we've both got attacking threats. You've got to look at Danny Ings from Southampton, and then you can compare him to Watkins from Villa, Grealish from us, Ward-Prowse, etc. That we both got our decent sources of attacking threat. But overall, I think Villa have the better defence. And although we did lose last week 3-0, I think overall we've got the better defence. And I said we'd win 1-0. So yeah, I said Bednareko in goal as well. So,
Bednareko, I hope not, because he's in my fantasy team. But anyway, saying that though, actually thinking of my fantasy team, McCarthy is my goalkeeper. Bednarek's my defender, so I might have to do a little bit of switching.
Yeah. Play your wild card, I would.
Yeah. You mentioned Watkins there briefly. I just think, I hope he gets back to scoring goals. I think he'll be wanting to get back on the score sheet, and I think
I just don't want him to flop. Honestly.
No, he strikes me as a player that I reckon this week he would have been assessing what he's done wrong, what he can do to get the better of Southampton's back line. And I was watching. There's been a lot of since our 7-2 win against Liverpool, there's been a lot of media hype and YouTube videos on Villa's tactical analysis. I can't remember which YouTube channel it was, but I was watching one of them and they were talking about Villa's tactics, and they looked at our next few games. And when they mentioned Southampton, they mentioned that they also play a high line. So if they remember what happened last time we played a high line,
Yeah.
well, we played a team with a high line, I should say, rather.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we do have the better defence, and if Southampton do go on to play a high line and we sort of adapt to that, then I think we can get the better of it. But I don't think it will be as easy as just bouncing back and getting back to winning ways.
Yeah, I think a lot of this game will depend a lot on how Tyrone Mings plays as well, because I think Mings was terrible against Leeds. But I think if he bounces back and assesses what he did wrong against Leeds and does better against Southampton, the game will pan out depending on his performance, if that makes sense. We'll have to wait and see, though. The thing is, though, that it's specifically in the Championship, but even in the Premier League, Dean Smith goes on these spells where he'll win a few games and then he'll go on a massive blip and lose a few games. He has these spells of doing well and then doing not so well. He did it last season. I remember we beat Norwich 5-1, and then we went and beat Brighton, and then we went and lost to City and Liverpool, and then we went on the downfall from there. I think I just hope and pray that this season it changes. I don't want to go on a downfall from here. I want to keep it the same as what it was before the Leeds game. And even if we get a few draws within the next couple of games, we've got Arsenal after Southampton. Even if we draw that, I'd be happy.
Yeah, I think one thing that really strikes me about Dean Smith and what is improved on this season.
Yeah.
I think he alluded to it in an interview he did pre-season. His man management skills, I think, have improved tenfold, and I think that's down to the coaching staff around him, but also him as a character. So I reckon he would have been setting things straight. I think last season, you saw. I don't know if you saw his post-match interview, but last season he was very much. What should we call him? A typical manager, weren't he? Playing, he's keeping his cards close to his chest, weren't he? When he was doing his post-match interview, especially after defeats. But against, with it being our first loss of the season, his management, his way he came out in an interview was perfect, and it's exactly what I thought. I think exactly what most fans wanted to hear, really. So I think Dino and co would have learned. But also, look, we are top 4 with a game in hand, 12 points.
It's against Man City, Lord, but we don't mind.
Yeah, anyway, but at the end of the day, if you give me this at the start of the season, I'd took it, and I'm sure every other Villa fan would have took it.
100%. Even if it meant we'd lose to Leeds and I'd get bombarded with abuse in my comment section, I'll take it.
Yeah. No, I did as well. You're not the only one.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we're still above Leeds, so I don't care. But...
Yeah, I did a live reaction, and it got most of them were Leeds fans. But yeah, is there anything else you'd want to add, Harry? Or do you think we've covered it all there?
I think we've covered it all pretty much. So I'm just saying, what's your score prediction then for the Southampton game?
Oh, 2-1 Villa.
2-1. I've already said 1-0. I've said Bednarek and goal. Who do you think will score the goals for Villa?
Watkins and Mings.
Fair enough. I think we've hit the nail on the head there. Been a decent recording. And yeah, thanks for listening or watching, whatever you're doing, whether you're watching on YouTube, listening to it on Spotify. And yeah, Jude, would you like to outro? Just say whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I'd just like to say anyone that's watching, I've got, for some reason I seem to get loads of kits, recently. So I've had this kit
as gifts.
Yeah. So I got this given as a gift. I've got a bunch of kits from the 90s era. So yeah, I'm loving this one. Mark reminds me of Mark Bosnich. So comment in the comment down below what you think of the shirt and what your memories are of this shirt. We haven't got Ben to do a fact of the day, so that's my challenge
Oh
to you
no,
guys in the comments.
I
So,
forgot my
what
joke.
are your
I forgot my
favourite
joke of the
memories?
day.
What are your favourite memories of this kit? And yeah, I'm going to stop waffling on for now. It's been great to be back talking about the Villa. Till next time, goodbye and up the Villa.
Yeah, I had a good joke, but I forgot what it was. So I'll tell you it next week if I remember.
Can't
Yeah,
have been
up the
that good
Villa.
if you forgot it, Harry. Up the Villa.